42 Roblox games are so fun that I'm still wondering why nobody plays them. I'll show you a cafe management game that literally sends you onto another planet, and a fighting game where every moment is a cinema. Seriously, just watch this video. And of course, you will not see any popular underrated games like fighting. These games are freshly picked, so if you are tired of the same games, watch this video. Starting off with Sushi Shop Simulator. It's a game where you run an entire restaurant with your friends. Balancing ingredient purchases, energy levels with coffee, and dishwashing keeps things unpredictable. Running a restaurant is insanely hard, but what if you could control the time itself? Well, you can do that in a game called Turn Back the Clock. It's a fighting game where you control time, stop it, rewind it, and even fast forward it, all while fighting through stages of enemies. But let's raise the game's level, because this next game is insane, and it is named Superstar Racers, an insanely fast parkour game that will not let you stop playing it. There are many bright and colorful levels, and the best part, it's multiplayer, so you can race your friends to see if they suck at platformers. Stick around to find more great games like this, but let's slow down a little and dive into the great world of Wildest, an adventure game from the developers of Wild that sends you into multiple dimensions and unusual worlds. But the real appeal, of course, is the environments and the variety of levels. Now let's get some heavy weaponry, because we got a fight coming on. And I'm talking about the game called Contact 3-8. You got 6 operatives and a horde of monsters. What happens next? Either an absurdly fun battle, or you just die out of nowhere. And it's insanely fun, with a massive arsenal of weapons to blast the monster away. But there's one game that will make you run from the monster, and the name of the game is Curious Island, a cool Roblox hangout game where you talk with NPCs, get multiple endings and more. And it's all fine, except this huge-ass monster. But now, imagine you're out in the middle of the Arctic, and that's where Cold Truth takes you. It's a story-driven survival horror game where you're lost in a frozen wasteland, trying to uncover what happened to the missing station crew. But if you're expecting other game genres, keep watching. But let's talk about the game Late July Midsummer. It's an exploration game where you wander through surreal dreamscapes, collecting items that do whatever and just existing. But I love this game for something else. 165 dreams, that's crazy! But if you love that unsettling atmosphere, POS demo is just for you. It's a horror game where you have to go into the office building of a company and uncover its dark secrets through cryptic puzzles, reading stories on the internet and more. But its atmosphere or something about to go wrong will not leave you. And how about this? In 40 seconds I will show you the best shooter game on Roblox, okay? But first, let's talk about Arms of Solitaire. It's a shooter game that lets you build, and a lot. Want to create a fortress mid-battle? Go ahead. Need tunnels for an ambush? Dig them out. The freedom makes it insanely fun. But for the weirdest shooter concept yet, we got a weird gun game. At first glance it plays like Phantom Forces, until you realize you can actually slap a barrel onto your rifle and call it a sniper. The customization of the game is hilarious, but surprisingly strategic. But let's flip the script and dive into a game called Dream Game. It's a surreal exploration game with interactable objects, hidden mechanics, and dreamlike environments. Unlike Late July, however, the levels are much larger and packed with secrets. But what game do you think is the best right now? Write it down in the comments. But let's talk about the best shooter game on Roblox, and the name of it is Fireteam. It's an amazing shooter game that focuses on actual tactics and communication with your buddies in order to win. And the gunplay is punchy and realistic, making every shot feel actually impactful. Another game we got is a special one, because surprisingly, it's an obby. Rewind Time Obby is the only obby game in this list, and it is deserved, because you can rewind time of both yourself and objects. And it starts simple, but it gets brutal as you progress more and more, and the obbies get more challenging. If your brain is already fried from this game, don't worry. This one requires zero thinking, and the name of the game is Character Controller. It's a simulator game where you take control of a guy and interact with various mechanisms around the map, from trampolines to literal black holes that teleport you somewhere. It's a fun game to explore for 20 minutes, but if you want more of a spooky experience, this next game will pull you in, and its name is the Underground Handgun Game. It's a horror game that is a continuation of a previously reviewed game on Roblox on this channel, with an insanely good story, cutscenes with actual voice acting, and multiple heart rate spiking moments to go along with it. Switching gears, this game turns you into a burglar, and the name of the game is Sneak Thief. It's a simulator game where you have to sneak in a bunch of houses and other buildings and steal everything, but there are many NPCs trying to catch you, and there's one other game where you have to find things, and the name of it is Office Sim, Find the Folders. It's a find them all type of a game where you have to find all the folders hidden around a giant office space, but it is not easy. You got over 62 folders to find, making it extremely difficult. But I have to admit, most shooters in this list focus on military combat or just killing other players. But this one, you're fighting off waves of cops for tax evasion, and the name of the game is Unorthodox Accounting. It's a fighting game where you have to fend off waves of cops that try to get you for probably tax evasion, and you got quite a good arsenal of weapons to do so. If you think this game deserves more players, hit subscribe so more people know about it. But there is one game that takes it all to a whole another level, and its name is Blast Zone. It's a fighting game that has a giant variety of weapons and a very smooth gameplay. Explosive, crazy weapons and fluid combat make every fight a cinematic scene. Roblox needs these kinds of games more, more, and we're only halfway done. But one game in this list is so unique, so wild, it stands above them all. Now let's take it down a notch and check out something a bit more atmospheric and spooky, like The Excavation. It's a horror game where you have to go into a very deep cave and you have to advance through it by completing multiple puzzles, as well as meeting the monster on the path. And the next game is all about trains, and the name of the game is a normal train. Think of it as doors, but with complete randomness instead of horror. Every new train car could be something completely absurd, but the next game will make you think very carefully. The name of the game is Hotel 9. It's an anomaly observation game that you probably have seen before, where you have 4 levels on which you have to spot anomalies that change from room to room. Next is the game where you can't see anything, and the name of it is Scan Test Demo. Sounds unusual, but you got one device to light up the entire map, a LiDAR scanner that scans out the surfaces of the map and lights it up with dots. But then you realize something's watching and moving. Okay, instead of scanning the darkness, let's dive into a vast library in a game called Library of Lethia. It's a simulator of a library where you can explore various works made by other players or write a book yourself. Even I got a book on how to become a YouTuber, so give it a read. But what if you could take this patient thinking and put it into battle? This next game is not just fun. Introducing to you Bloxcards. A strategic masterpiece disguised as a card game, Bloxcards offer an insane variety of units, each with unique abilities that can completely change the tide of battle. With endless customization and high skill, high reward gameplay, Bloxcards isn't just fun. It's a must play for anyone who loves outplaying their enemies. But the next game, however, is just as satisfying, and the name of it is Wizard West. It's an excellent fighting game about battling other players and enemies with a variety of magical spells. What makes this game special from all the magic games, however, is the flow of combat. Every dodge, every spell, and every counter is buttery smooth. And you know, I spend a lot of time explaining the game, so how about we make it much faster? And let's start off with the game 60 seconds until the end of the world. It's a simple game with multiple endings about the end of the world. Save the world, rob a bank, kill people, whatever you want. But the next game is a tad bit deeper, and the name of it is Dopey Fighters 3. It's an unconventional fighting game that breaks the rules by allowing players to parkour around the map. But not every game needs high-stakes action. This game is one of the most relaxing experiences in Roblox, and the name of it is For You. It's undeniably one of the most comforting games on Roblox right now, where you walk on a certain path and talk to an old man about life. Alright, that was fast enough. And while this game is not very high quality, it's very interesting. And I'm talking about this Basilica. It's an extremely short showcase horror game where you explore an ominous basilica, but this game is not that simple, because this game may hold a dark secret. And the next game just feels odd. And I'm talking about Nathaniel's Dreaming Place. It's a serene game with a simple goal. Discover all of the islands floating in the sky, and you do that by activating various triggers around the map. But something completely different from that, we got a game called Balarox. It's an insanely good recreation of Balatro on Roblox, where you have to defeat bosses named Blinds with pure luck and strategy, utilizing your own cards. But this next game swaps strategy for sheer speed. So let's test your reflexes in a game called Quick Click. It's a shooter game that completely breaks all of the rules of the genre. Instead of aiming and shooting, you have to time your shots in a predefined cutscene, and your timing has to be perfect. And we're about to reach 3 most underrated games, so stay watching. Now let's step back into the past, and I'm talking about the game called Retro Hell. It's a horror-ish game about a classic Roblox, where instead of the usual horror scares you get, you would still feel like something is just not right. And this next game is one of the coziest games I've ever seen on Roblox, and I'm talking about the game called Winter. It's a very good looking simulator game that takes you back to your childhood with building snow fortresses and playing snow fights with your friends. Now let's flip the script and play an unsettling game called Repressed Retrospection. It's a game that takes LiDAR's formula and takes it to the next level, with a much bigger map, a story to uncover, and a few unsettling moments with people being hung on the ceiling. Oh my god. And now, we're entering the territory of the best games on this entire list. And one of these games is named Dog Watching 3. It's an insanely well-made FNAF game, but what it sets it apart is the atmosphere. So this game is not a horror game, it's a terror game. But if that game was too much for you, like for me, let's play a calmer game called Color Book. It's a relaxing painting game where you select a map and paint it all with vibrant colors, making your brain feel all at peace after the horrors of the previous game. And finally, we're down to the final 3, and this games aren't just hidden gems, they're some of the best kept secrets on the platform. 14th game in our list is Hero of the Grand Soul. It's a brutally satisfying fighting game that brings the idea of Dark Souls into Roblox, delivering stunning visuals, rich world building, and a combat system that feels incredibly fluid. This game is a must play for any fans of RPGs, but this next game can seem calm, but it's actually insane. And I'm talking about the game called Hybrid Cafe. This isn't just a coffee shop, it's controlled chaos in the best way possible. From dealing with robbers and demanding customers to racing against your own efficiency, every shift is a test of your speed. But just when you think you mastered the madness, the game throws you into an entirely different world, like literally. And now, it's time for perfection, delivering visuals, mechanics, and sheer fun at a level that I've never seen before. If you think you've seen it all, play Blood, Sweat, and Pixels first. It's an excellent fighting game that has an insane variety of funny and genuinely unusual items to fight players with. Imagine Item Asylum, but cranked up to 11. The game's charm is off the charts, blending smooth, satisfying combat with an endless variety of tools to outplay your opponents. Whether you're winning or losing, you'll be entertained the entire time, and that's what makes this game truly and utmostly legendary. So whether you're looking for a relaxation in a Roblox game or a panic attack, this list has something for everyone.